Hi, welcome back to Growth Catalyst Hub. Today is the day 26 of the 30-day YouTube course journey of how to turbocharge your career. On day 26 today, we are going to look at how do you prepare for technical interviews. A few days back, we saw how to prepare for behavioral interviews. We also saw a few days back how to prepare for the top interview questions which are likely to come. But let's today focus on how to prepare for technical interviews. Technical interviews are going to be very, very key component of whatever field that you belong to. And hence, it's important to prepare for that in a separate fashion. Let's see the key steps involved in preparing for that. Let's dive in. The first thing that you need to do is to prepare and review basic concepts and fundamentals. A lot of clarity on basic concepts and fundamentals are expected if you want to walk into any related technical field. Whether it is technical field or management field, you're expected to have the grasp on the fundamentals. And it's important to brush up all the concepts, all the fundamental blocks of whichever field you belong to. Whether you are engineer, and within that, it could be you are a software engineer, cloud engineer, you could be a AAA engineer, you could be a civil engineer, mechanical engineer, whatever stream that you belong to, brush up all the basic concepts. And the same principle applies to whether you are a lawyer or a chartered accountant or a management graduate, any field for that matter. You are supposed to know your fundamentals. You are supposed to know your core concepts. So take time out, review. In today's day and age, there are lots of platforms which can help you do that. For example, in the software world, there is a hacker rank. If you are a coding enthusiast, coding person, hacker rank to lead code to, there are a number of platforms available. And similarly, the first step before you sit and prepare should be to figure out which are the platforms that are available for you to figure out what are the important things. It could be in Telegram, it could be WhatsApp groups, it could be various platforms that people congregate, similar-minded people who are applying for jobs. So figure out which platforms are there where people of similar interest congregate and talk about which concept they are relearning, focusing on, brushing up. It would also help you to do that. Number two step should be, you need to understand typical format applied in the company that you are interviewing for. For example, if it is a TCS or an Infosys or a Cognizant, there are set patterns basis previous years. It's almost like preparing for JEE or any other exam in your previous innings. It's like that because these are set patterns, because these are companies which recruit in huge numbers. There are set patterns. There are, in fact, TCS expected questions, Infosys expected questions, and so on, which make rounds. The point to make is you need to understand typically what is expected. If it is a very small company that you're applying to and no idea as to what they're expecting, you have to go back to their job description and figure out what is it that they expect out of people who are joining. That would give us a clue in terms of what are the technical skills which is expected from somebody like you. If it is a set company, if it is a mass, big recruiting company, then there are already set patterns which you can figure out from people who have applied before, people who are applying currently from different platforms. But you need to understand what is it that is expected so that you can focus on those things a little more. Number three is going to be practicing problem solving. A lot of these technical interviews, irrespective of the stream that you belong to, would involve problem solving in real time. So if you're a programmer, coding person, you may be given actual problems and asked to solve during the interview. So you may be given a couple of problems and asked to walk the interview panel through the steps that you would arrive at a solution. You can do that in the interview only if you have enough practice. It's like practicing for any entrance exam. It's like practicing for any board exam. Nothing different in terms of the conceptually how you apply your skills. You need to have a lot of practice for the practice to fructify in good result in the final exam. The final exam here is the interview. So please practice. Please have a couple of people who can practice with you, like-minded people, so that practicing becomes a joyous and a happy way of preparation rather than boring all by yourself. And the same principle applies to even if you're a management graduate. There could be problems, real life problems in terms of, okay, if this is a digital campaign expectation, how would you solve for it? It could be a digital manager position that you're applying for. And therefore, from that domain, people can give you real life problems and ask you to solve. It could be that people ask you to estimate things. For example, one of the favorite things that I ask in my interviews from people from management institutes or people who are applying to my company is to estimate things. I just want to see what is the logic that they apply, and they are able to walk me through that logic. So I ask them to estimate how many people in India could be playing cricket, how many cricket bats are sold in India, things like that. It's not the value that one is expecting, it's the approach that one is expecting in terms of the thought process. That brings us to the fourth step, which is explaining lucidly your thought process. The answers are actually irrelevant. The thought process is a lot more important, especially in a stress situation like an interview. What the interviewer is expecting is how you think through. And are you able to think through the problem from different ends? Because no problem in real life has one single solution like it happens in our mathematics exams. There are no correct answers most of the time. There are no fixed answers most of the time. There is an approach, and every problem may need a very different kind of approach. And therefore, you should be able to approach any problem in 2-3 different directions. So the interviewer, irrespective of what kind of a field that they are interviewing you for, would expect you to talk about and show them that you are capable of thinking from different ways. For example, a mathematical problem can be solved simply arithmetically by breaking down that number into factors, by using calculus. Even mathematical problems can be solved in many ways, and we all know that. And it's also encouraged in mathematics also to think creatively, and so that you can solve the problem quickly and efficiently. Similarly, any technical problem, any coding problem, any software problem, programming problem, or management problem can be approached in different fashions. And the question would be, are you clear about how this problem can be approached? What are the different methods of approaching this problem? And can you explain the thought process to the interviewers? Again, this needs a lot of practice of not only thinking through, but also articulating your thought process in terms of steps. Practice it so that you get it perfect during the interview. The next step is you would have brushed upon the concepts and fundamentals. Along with that, it might be very useful to brush upon the tools which are used in your field. For example, I can think of simple things like vernier caliper or a Bunsen burner that an engineer would have used in his early days of engineering. It might be useful to just go back and brush up the idea of what these tools and equipments do and how they work, so that one is prepared. Another example could be, for example, if you are a cloud engineer, it might be important to understand how does platform like AWS work. If you are an artificial intelligence engineer, there are tons and tons of tools, and it may be important for you to brush up on the top 20, top 25 tools which are coming up in this industry. Similarly, figure out what are the tools and equipments and the techniques which are coming up in your field, which are predominantly and widely used, applied, so that you are familiar with that and you can talk about it in a knowledgeable fashion when the interviewer asks about it. The next thing is obviously from your resume. Your resume, you should know it upside down, completely every single word. A lot of times people talk about some of the technical projects that they have done, part of their summer projects, part of their internship projects. And a lot of times it is a technical project because you would have done it for as part of your curriculum, part of your company project, and so on and so forth. Even experienced people, all of us go through and we do some projects. You should be ready to talk about that if asked. You should be knowing what you started to deliver, what you actually delivered. If there are gaps, what was the gap and why the gap happened? How did you approach the entire technical project from the time of conception to the time of delivering it? You should know every single step happened. What was your role, your contribution in the whole project? You should be able to lucidly, clearly, step by step explain the whole process. The last suggestion is obviously, how do you need to approach it? Stay calm, stay focused, stay relaxed. Even if you're stuck somewhere, it is okay. Even in real life, we are stuck. We look at what else we need to do. And we brainstorm, think about what is the best solution forward and apply that and move forward. So getting stuck is okay as long as you don't panic. So people look at, and in fact, interviewers give you little harder problems to see. How do you handle that stress which comes when problems become harder? Do you panic? Do you stay relaxed? Do you stay focused? Do you stay calm? That is something that people also see apart from your technical expertise to solve the problem. Given that, stay calm, stay focused, stay relaxed. And if you're stuck somewhere, take a deep breath and smile to yourself saying, yeah, I'm going to solve it. Have a positive conversation with yourself mentally and go ahead and do it. Don't panic because, if you don't get answers, that's okay. That's part of life. It happens. And panicking is not going to help that. So stay focused, stay calm, go ahead and do it in a relaxed fashion. So to summarize what we have seen in this session, start with reviewing and brushing up on your basic concepts, core concepts and fundamentals. Along with that, understand the tools and technologies which are widely used in your field, even if you have not studied about that in your core syllabus or curriculum. So if a tool, technology, methodology is widely used in your field, you should know about it if you are getting into an interview stage. Practice makes it perfect. So find somebody to practice along with you and practice. Also figure out what kind of questions may come, what kind of interview is there, what is it that the company is asking for, looking for. You can talk to people who have appeared for the company interview in the previous year, or since companies keep having these interviews, previous batch of interviews, or who are working there to have an idea of what the company is looking for in technical interviews. You should also be part of some of the forums which are there in Facebook or Telegram or any of these platforms. There are a number of forums helping out aspirants on core concepts or tools and technologies, or what kind of things that one can expect from a particular interview, particular company on an interview. So be part of this so that you can expect. Along with practicing, you also practice how do you articulate the steps and the logic. So it's not, remember that you are more than the solution, what the companies are expecting is the approach. Are you able to approach it in the right fashion? Are you able to articulate that approach logically, step by step, so that it is crystal clear to you, crystal clear to people who are hearing you? Whatever you do, don't panic in the interview. Stay calm, stay focused, stay relaxed. Believe that you can ace the interview. Hope you like this session. Please like it. Please subscribe to my channel. See you in our next episode.